All righty, Romeo Radio, second hour. My friend Heshy is here. I'm going to be here till 9. Don't go anywhere. Heshy, what's happening?
Hello, Ralph. Thank you again for another week. Thank you, everybody, for tuning into my show, the Heshy Tischler Show. And I want to tell all of you that I've been on the street all week, last week, part of last week, and I started out yesterday. I got such a good people enjoying to talk to me, shaking my hands, giving me hugs, people recognizing me. As I told a lot of the people, a lot of my supporters got angry at me. Heshy, why didn't you get out? Why haven't you put out more literature posters? I'm going to tell you two things. I did put out a couple of test posters, and I saw a couple of my, at least one of my opponents, young people, and it was a shame ripping down my posters. I was disappointed with them. Yes, it was. I can tell you, it was the hiking campaign. I saw his guys ripping down my poster. That's why we haven't spent a lot of money yet. But now I'm going to, in the last 2 weeks, we're going to give the big push. I know you're going to remember, and I've been telling everybody from the beginning. I am going to do the big push on my campaign now. You'll see my name out there. You'll see my face. I'll be on the streets talking to you. My phone is available to you, by the way. My cell phone number is 718-288-7844, 718-288-7844. Or you can get me on the Facebook or Twitter at JustEnoughHeshy.com or JustEnoughHeshy.
Can you do me a favor? Call
This
back
is going to be a great show. You can call
into
into my show and ask any questions at 212-219-9695. 212-219-9695. And I want to tell you something. This show is being supported by one of my good friends from the Pescata restaurant. He has a place on Avenue M. He has a place on Avenue P, which just became a meat place. And I'm trying to get Ralph to come with me. The Pescata restaurant, wonderful food.
I'll be there.
You better come because the desserts just melt in my mouth. Wonderful, nice. Wonderful. And of course, you can always call Green Line Building Consultants at 718-871-0382. We help you with violations, plans, permits, anything you need. You call my staff over there, and they are just lovable. People come in all the time with problems. I want to tell you, guys, we're going to have a great show tonight. We have Nachman Kala, one of our local constituents, a man who ran for the assembly seat against Dov Hikind. He's been around our community. He's helped people with housing, with condo books, a lawyer. He's very knowledgeable in housing. And he's calling into the show. And we're going to have a couple of minutes with him to discuss some of his ideas and some ideas that he's going to say. We're going to ask him some questions. We also have a gentleman by the name of Mr. Naftali that some of you are not happy with, and we're going to ask him some questions. I mean, Yoni Hikind said he's going to protect us from him because he's scared of Naftali Mosto. He claims that our community is scared of him. But listen, Naftali's scared of us, and he's going up here to talk to me in person, and we're going to ask him some serious questions. And that's how we're going to begin. We're also going to talk about some two personal issues that I have before I take the phone call. Issue number one is I am very, very disappointed with Yoni Hikind. I was supposed to be on that debate in the Jewish press. You canceled it. Fine. Got you. You're scared of me. You don't know how to chat. Got you. Then we have a debate coming up, the New York 1 debate. And you and Carmen are doing, which I'm also disappointed with Carmen because I protected you. I was there for you. I backed you. Now you guys are doing a debate without me for 7 minutes. What's going on here? Are you really scared? You don't know how to talk. You're little kids. Are you two little children that are hiding from me? Oh, I'm the third candidate. I don't have as much money. Hey, you spent $500,000. And you guys are just playing around, throwing away money for a $100,000 job. Are you really joking with me? This is the way you're going to run my council seat? Anyways, I'm going to get to the final point before I talk to my first guest. I'm very disappointed. They had a show Saturday night. Again, Kalman and Hikind with this guy, Leon Goldenberg. They think they know him for all his life. I know Leon when I was 18 years old. He hired us to package gold for him when I was going through school. Again, when you get to a guy like that, he didn't even pay us our wages properly. And that's the truth. I'm telling you, it was me. I worked there. I worked at night because I had 3 jobs to work at. I was a teacher during the day. I was going through school. I was mopping floors. And I packaged gold at night. Then Leon Goldenberg went into the real estate and he asked for help with violations. I would never help that guy. You should see some of his buildings, the way he pays his clients. Yes, I'm knocking Leon Goldenberg. I'm knocking a man who goes on the radio and says there's only 2 candidates. Who are you? Are you endorsing the other 2? Are you not recognizing that I'm an official balloted candidate, that I got 3,000 signatures, that I've worked in my community. Here's a story. When I bought my building about 8 years ago, Ralph, you're going to like this. My neighbor started to attack me. Called the building department 18 times. It's all proof on the Department of Building's website. He sued me, got a restraining order to get into my own building, costing me thousands of dollars, held me back up for months from building. And I asked the guy, what do you want? He says, well, Heshy, I want $16,500. I said, really? You're blackmailing me? You got his engineers. I got my engineers. I paid him his $16,500. During contract signing, Leon Goldman got involved. And Leon Goldenberg prepared this contract, and I figured, it's not a big deal. You pay the guy $16,000 and leaves you alone. At the contract signing, my lawyer, a friend of mine, said, Heshy, let me come with you. I said, no, I can do this myself. I don't want to waste time and money. He says, Heshy, let me come. As we're sitting in the contract, we're reading over the contract. The last line says that my neighbor, Mr. Gelbhardt, has the right of way. I figured right away, everybody's allowed in my office. My office is an open place. Yeah, come, go, check. I'm not doing anything illegal. My lawyer says, no, right of way means I can't sell the building. I can't rent the building. I can't even enter my own building without permission. Wow. I said, Leon, why'd you do this? Well, Heshy, we want to have control of you. I said, Leon, that's how you treat another human being? That's how you treat another Jew? You're a landlord? I mean, I understand your activities you've gotten away with, but you're not going to bully me. You're not going to try to steal my building. They tried to steal my building, by the way, by holding me back. And they came to me. They said, well, Heshy, you paid $1 million for your building. Just to get out of these headaches, we'll give you $900,000. And after a while, I said, Ralph, I give up. I'm going to give you the $900,000. I'll accept the offer. I go back to them. Leon says, no, we're going to pay you only $800,000 just to get yourself out. I said, Leon, listen to me, little boy. I'm not scared of you. I'm never scared of you. Your little community fake affairs program is stupid. You are stupid. I hate you, Leon Goldenberg. I do. I know I'm not allowed to say this about another Jew, and I was told not to have a hate campaign. Leon Goldenberg is a slumlord, is a bad man. Listening to that man's show, you guys should be disappointed. He is nothing to me. I'm not scared. I listen to Kalman because I like the way Kalman speaks, and I think he's an intelligent man. Yoini, I don't understand you at all. Laughing at Asian Americans and hate crimes. I mean, come on, even giggling when somebody asks you a question. What are you, 12 years old? You're supposed to be campaigning. I'm 53 years old. I don't want to campaign against a young little boy. I'm disappointed. So anyways, these are my issues that I have with you. Do I have my friend Nachman Kahlo on the phone?
You do.
Nachman, are you on the phone with us? Nachman, I want you to know, Nachman, when I started in my construction field about 20-something years ago, I came to you to help for my condo books. You helped me. You walked me through. I remember once you were so busy, I didn't have time. You said, Heshy, pick me up, drive me, and I'll be able to work with you even in the car. So, Nachman, you are a man that has helped a lot of people in the community. Sometimes I don't see eye to eye with you on the same issues, but I do respect the stuff you did. I respect that you ran against Dov Hikind. I respect that you have opinions, and I like to hear what you have to say. And the first thing I want to ask you something, Nachman. Tell me something, Nachman. And you've been running affordable housing in this community, or pitching affordable housing in this community. Tell us your idea on affordable housing.
Let me get on your show and batting first. That's great. So I guess everybody's still listening. Anyway, first I have to praise all three of you, especially you, Heshy, Kalman, Yoni, for stepping up and running. This is not a picnic, this job. This is a 24/7 job, and you have to be single-mindedly devoted to the community to do that. You lose your family, lose everything. And also, you guys have a great shoes to fill. We have very distinguished councilmen in our community, David Greenfield, Simcha Felder, and whoever is going to take their place has to step up to the plate. This community needs it, and the most important legislator in the community is the councilman, not Albany. I'm telling you, it's just the council. Everything goes through the council. So let me first praise you and give a bracha whoever wins. It's called Muna.
Thank you, Nachman. By the way, Nachman, it's going to be me that wins, by the way. So, I want to ask you one question before we start. I want to get this out. You got it. By the way, Nachman, before I let you talk, Nachman, 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 before I let you go on, I'm going to let you talk. I just want to ask you one question. I want to get this out of the way, and I want to clear this up. And I'm not asking for an endorsement because everybody's been texting me all day long. Who is Nachman endorsing? Has Nachman endorsed anybody? Tell it to us straight, Nachman. I'm not scared. Say it straight out. Nachman, we lost him.
And whoever going up here have to leave because they have to be next to the children, and that people don't realize what a disaster is when they leave New York. They lose all their health care. The problem is very bad, and I want all of you to focus. I haven't seen any major focus on affordable. You must understand because that is our most important issue. So the problem that we're having, of course, is the government. The government, both state and local, do not understand our problems, do not understand what we need. I did one bill in Albany. I'll tell you, they have no idea what they're doing. So when I did bills, very well, but it doesn't end up doing that way. They allocate funds, and they end up allocating funds for the places where the city can get the most bang for the buck. So they go to other areas of the city. In our community, the problem is that if they want to build affordable, they would have to pay much more for the land.
So what you're saying is that other communities are getting the money while we're getting zero. Zero. Is that correct?
Every single community.
Wow.
Sure.
And we're not getting it. So now forget that. I got that point. We know that the city's screwing us, and when I win councilman, I'm going to make sure that I'm going to try to see where that money is going. But now I want to ask you another question. So now we know that affordable housing is possible. Where, Nachman, is it possible? I know you wanted to build over the railroads, and that Dove told you that the real deal was that you can build over the railroads or whatever. Explain that to me.
And David Greenfield have picked an area between 9th and 15th Avenue, between 61 and 62. Whatever it is, over the tracks, near the tracks, it does not make a difference. The most important thing is that all of them require the cooperation and the help from both state and city agencies. And wherever you as the councilman and Assemblyman, the senator, all have to get behind us to push all these agencies who are a bunch of bureaucrats. They're giving such a hard time. So no matter what we build, and the problem is you got to get the community behind us. The community does not understand that it's when they say, and they vote. I love to see a big vote. And I've been in politics. I'll tell you, they look at us. What do you mean you have 30,000 people? We only have 10,000 voters. I mean, guys got to come out and vote. The politicians do. The bureaucrats.
But Nachman, so I got this. But my point to this, we believe that the community. But my question to you is there a way that we can put together at least 5,000 or 6,000 new homes for affordable housing for our young future kids?
Help of the city and state.
Okay, I hear you. I hear you. That's interesting. Now, Hykind endorsed your project of building, and now he doesn't endorse your project of building. I mean, explain this to me. Why isn't he behind you now?
Yeah, I think he's focusing in the same area that I was focusing. I think. He endorsed.
Nachman, I have to break in. Nachman, can you hear me? Nachman, can you hear me? We have to go back and forth here because when Heshy's talking, you're talking over him, and I want everything to be heard here. So try to make your point, allow Heshy to make his, and we'll go back and forth that way because you're talking over each other. Go ahead, Hesh.
Okay, Nachman. So my point is Dov Hykind's assembly behind your projects of building these affordable housing or not?
I mean, he wants affordable housing. The question is, can it be built if it shows that we can build? Of course, it'll be beyond this 100%. I mean, he said that this is the area, so I expect anybody that wins, Yoni or Commons will be behind this project if we can show them that it's doable, and I believe this can be shown. So, I mean, but the most important thing is you need the councilman and you need the state.
Now, Nachman, I am in the construction field for these years, and I understand what is affordable housing. I understand budgeting and so on. I mean, I don't believe Common and Yoni know that. They want to build parks and they want to have flying magic sweeping machines, but do they understand really? I mean, 32 years Dover's in business, and I don't see any affordable housing. I'm living in this community for 40 years, and I haven't seen any affordable housing coming up in where you and I live every single day. Why?
Well, the answer is that, there has to be initiative, and they don't have to actually do it, but as long as they support it and they push it forward, they don't have to actually be expert in everything, but as long as they're made to understand, and once they understand it, they will do it. It can work with with even someone that's not that much familiar with the building of housing.
Okay, I got you 32 years and we haven't. Now, Nachman, before we finish up, I'm not asking you, I tried to ask this question before, I'm not asking you to endorse anybody, but did you endorse anybody in this race? Not me, not any. Did you endorse anybody? Have you endorsed anybody?
Not at this time, and endorsement to whoever I feel is going to be the most able to build housing, helping with the housing, will carry great weight in my endorsement. I had actually an article showing the strength of even such Republican that in the last race, when we put Bill Hike on the Republican line, he got more votes on the Republican line than on the Democrat line.
In the studio. Studio. Who's this?
Well,
Studio.
your endorsement will be good. And but just for your knowledge, Nachman, if anybody understands housing and construction and budgets and so on, would be me. And I like some of your ideas, and I'd like to view. I got your letter in the mail to discuss this, and that's why right away I called you and I asked you to come on my show. Nachman, you're a wonderful man. You've done a lot for the community. You give a lot of charity. I know you're good, and I wish you a great year. And I hope you prayed for all Jews over the holidays, really the whole world. And you're a good man, and I wish you and your family a wonderfully, wonderful year to come.
And I wish you, Heshy, your run for bringing up the issues, and of course, if you win, I wish you the best. And whatever you do, just do it perfect or wrong.
And I will. And Nachman, thank you for your call, and thank you for your time. I appreciate it. And the first person when I win I'll be calling you to help me with some affordable housing. Ladies and gentlemen, my next guest has stepped out a little bit, so I'm going to continue on a little bit on another issue. By my personal feelings, I always ask you about the money. My opponents are looking to do parks and cleaning machines and whatever their ideas are and so on. Let me just explain to you something. I understand that Yoni has never worked in politics. He's met many politicians over the years. I guess that qualifies him to be a councilman. But I don't believe it does. Really, the truth of the matter is I was just making a joke. Kalman is a good man, 17 years in legislation. But you know who I am? I'm the guy whose shirt is untucked. That's right. They were making fun of me on my WhatsApp and all the social media. I'm the guy whose hands are in the dirt. I'm the one who has interacted with the ACS Child Safety Services. I'm the one who interacts with the Department of Buildings, helps people with the Department of Finance, helps people with Consumer Affairs, DEP, ERT, DOH, Department of Education, Parks Department, and I can keep going down the line with legal aid, the District Attorney, the New York City Housing Authority, Department of Housing. I know their system. I'm not asking to change legislation and make magical machines. I know the system. I know how to deal with the system. I know how to fail, get rejected, objected, go back. I know when my schools are closed, I don't promise them the world. I tell the kids, listen, not the kids, the rabbis, the teachers, the parents, I'm going to get your school open. Give me a little bit more time. I have another problem. I have another issue. I'm having a problem that after school programs, we have the money, we have the funding, and we're throwing it away. I'm not complaining that schools get money. I'm complaining that it's not being used right. Why don't we have after school programs? Why don't we have after on the weekend programs for our children? I was walking down the street on Ocean Parkway. I have a route. I was supposed to go see the Baba Rebbe, a big rabbi on the Sabbath. And they kept me waiting an hour and a half. And of course, the rabbi is very busy. He has thousands of people to see. But I had 7 people to see. Everybody made fun of me. 7 people, and the rabbi had to go feed somebody. I had to go make kiddush for an older person. I had to go to the hospital. I had to go to the nursing home to make sure 2 people were okay. And then I had to go feed somebody in Ocean Park and Avenue J. My route takes 4 or 5 hours. I don't have a day off. Plus, I do a 14-hour day during the week regular. Well, my 2 campaign opponents, they don't have jobs, it looks like, because they campaign and stand on the street all day. What do they do by smiling and shaking your hands? I know they have to get their face out there, but you can't give up your responsibilities. What is it? Campaign comes and the whole world ends. Charity stops. Visiting people stops. Taking care of the sick stop. Taking care of your clients that are responsible stop. The world stops because of this campaign. No, ladies and gentlemen. Heshy Tischler does not know that, and he's going to show you that. I am committed to my responsibility in my community to help you out. I will work my 14-hour days. I'll put in my 5 hours campaigning. I will go to pray at the synagogue. I will go visit the sick. Anyways, I couldn't see the rabbi. They got a little angry at me, but I did come back yesterday. The rabbi took me up, had a little chat. He knew my grandfather. He knew about my family history. He wished me the best. He gave me a blessing to win the election. And we had a cute little 50-second chat. And the rabbi was, of course, a holy man, very, very holy man. And he saw all the candidates, but I guess he saw me more because we had a little bit better of a chat. That's what I felt. So as I was walking on Ocean Parkway and I was running a little late already, I saw a young boy, high autistic functioning boy, and I was talking to people. They stopped me as I walked. It takes me like an extra half hour. I walk, I always see different people, and they say hello, they say good Shabbos, and they stop me. I had like 6 young people, 2 young couples with kids, and they stopped me on Ocean Parkway and Avenue J. My son lives a block away, but I was going on my route to one of my last 2 stops. Young boy comes over, shakes my hand. Do you have any games? I said, no, I don't have any games. And he was walking. He said, I had to walk to the park, and I saw there was a little bit of a little weakness in him. And I said to him, did you eat lunch? Did you have stuff? We always pick up people on the streets and take them up. And I said, my son lives right here in this building. Come upstairs, and we'll give you some food. You can play games. I had like 10 nephews and nieces there for the weekend. And he came up, and he sat there for like an hour. And I said, your parents might be worried. He says, no, they sent me to the park. Don't worry. We gave him some food. He had a good time, and I sent him on his way home. His mother came back an hour later. Where did my son go? He had a great time, and she sat with us for an hour. And we spoke about it. She has also a Down syndrome child. There are no aftercare programs. There are no weekend programs. There's nobody helping these children. My sons had to sit with him and play. My sons fed him. Not that I have a problem with that. We always take in special children. We always take in, over the last 27 years, I had many kids that were on drugs, many kids that were on problems. We helped them. We guided them. I took in foster children. My question to you is, where's this money? Why don't we have aftercare programs? Why is the free lunch programs not kosher? Why is Bill de Blasio running around telling everybody, hey, man, don't buy at Starbucks, buy at a cheaper place? I mean, I have no idea what this guy is up to anyways. He's going to be mayor again. I don't even know why. What?
What I'm saying is he's just about going to win another landslide.
And I have no idea why. Really, I have no idea why.
Everybody I talk to, Heshy, is not really satisfied with the way of life in New York, but yet he's going to win in a landslide. How do you explain that?
Right. I know. I like Bodito. That's why.
Are you kidding?
I have no choice. Whoa. I have no choice. Bill de Blasio is nothing more to me.
And the Republican is so inadequate. She's horrendous. You can't form 2 sentences. But you make a great point. Why are you in the community right now doing your work as if there were no campaign, and they spend their whole entire days out there campaigning, not taking care of responsibility? That shows your character.
Right. They just stop their lives, or they stop their legislation. Now, Carmen is a very good man, as I was telling you. But again, his hands are not in the dirt. I'm out there in the field jumping off of my son was screaming at me there. Why'd you jump off the building, Pop? You hurt your leg. So I said, I thought I was 23 years old, but I'm in the field. I am working it. I am running around. I am helping people. Friday afternoon, I got called that a building was collapsing. Come over there, help them out. I went to do the inspections, brought the engineer, made the plans, prepared the paperwork, got it done. So someday we can do some emergency work. Work with Department of Building, save my client tens of thousands of dollars so the building doesn't get vacated and tenants thrown on the street. This is what I do. I care about people. Sundays, Saturday nights. Okay, Saturday night after my long walk, I couldn't make it home now. I was exhausted this week. So my wife picked me up with the car, not my son's. I don't know why. And she bought me a coffee from Dunkin' Donuts. Yes, I'm cheap. I'm not paying $5.50.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
It's crazy. I bought a Dunkin' Donuts, a latte with cinnamon in it. Wonderful, wonderful. Anyways, so these are the things that we have to worry about community. We have to, I saw pictures of one of my opponents going to the senior centers, hiking, went in there to visit the people. Do you know if there's aftercare programs to them? Are there specialty programs to help them out? Are there visitors coming in? Do you have volunteer programs? Oh, you went to visit to hand out your card? I go visit them. I go check them. I'm only one. I take my sons. I take my kids. This is where our money should be spent. We have to recreate where our funding is going. Everybody's telling me about alternate side of the street parking, that one of my opponents is going to stop alternate side of the street parking. Are you crazy in your head? It's not possible. I don't want you to do anything. I want you to use this system. I did like what David Greenfeld did say, or comment one time, that, they're stealing a lot of my ideas, which is very good. I want my opponents to use my ideas. Okay, Carmen, you want to have a bus running around Borough Park for people without cars. No, my park and ride system is people with cars. I want to stop the car flow in my thing. I want to stop the congestion. Park your cars outside of Borough Park, take my park and ride, and if you don't have a car, you can jump on the park and ride too. Ease the congestion. The traffic officers should be moving along traffic, not giving tickets, not with a heart or compassion. Yesterday, I got a ticket because I was putting in a quarter. There was 3 people ahead of me in the muni meter. It took them 4 minutes. I got my ticket at 4:04, and I got the ticket at 4. I told the guy, look, I'm getting the ticket. No, go to court. That's the first thing they say. Go to court. That's what they say. Unacceptable. These are the things that we have to stop. We have to stop this craziness.
Anyway, a little common sense. Yeah, that's all it takes.
Now everybody says, well, all the other candidates are getting endorsed by these big Jewish Mosdes or school organizations, which I believe are all fake. You know, they're saying they're getting. I'm taking the same pictures as them. I don't really hear the endorsements on the street. You know, but I love the big Mosdes. I love Satmar, Bells, Ger, Bob. These are big names. You know, and what I want the ballpark community to know is, listen, vote for Heshy Tishla. Show the people that the third candidate has power. Come out as an individual. You don't have to listen to the rabbis to be an individual. Think for yourself for the right candidate. Sure, if the rabbi tells you Heshy's a better candidate than Kalman and Hiking, which I'm sure they are telling you, then vote for me. But that's not what I'm saying to you. Think for yourselves. We have to show the community that we are a powerful force, that we are going to create individuals that will lead this community and fight for the future of this community. I do care about my schools and so on, but you know, they want to build more parks. I'm tired of wasting the time. I and Nachman Kala, we could change zoning regulations. We could increase. Somebody says, well, Heshy, what are you going to do? Build more bigger buildings? Where are you going to put the parking? You're going to cheat? We're going to force them to do the parking correctly. Yes, we are going to create more buildings, but not where the big buildings are now. Let's use where the smaller houses are now and change the R5 zonings to R6. Change the R4 zonings to R5. Don't get crazy. That means you're going from a 2-family house or 1-family house to a 3-family house. Take a 3-family house and let them make it to a 6-family house. And so on. Increase a level on Ocean Avenue. Let everybody add on a floor or 2. Let's work within the system that we can create. And my plan for housing is that if I can help change these zoning regulations in Borough Park and Flatbush and Midwood and Benson, I can create not what Mayor de Blasio's small 300-unit apartments. I'm going to create 1,200, 1,500 square foot unit apartments, and I'd like to create 3,000, 4,000 more units over the next 10 years. Right, I know it can be done.
We have Mark Appel. Mark, how are you?
Mark Appel.
Doing?
Wow, Mark. Wow, I love you, Mark. I'm so happy you're calling into my show. You are a good boy.
You know, I'm not in the district, but I'm very interested in this race, and I'm a little bit disturbed at the Chazarai that's going around. I don't know why people, you know, all 3 candidates. I know you are a decent guy. I know you for many years. You do beautiful work with Youth at Risk, and you know, Mr. Yeager is a very qualified candidate himself. He did a lot of work in government, and of course Yoni Heiken is a good boy, did a lot of good stuff in special education and working with kids. You know, do you Heshy?
Well, Mark, you know, I had a little chat with you about that the other day. I think, and I tell you right now, that I understand that the Democratic line, everybody runs out for Democrat and clicks the line there. This is a special election, as I was telling you. People have to know the name. A lot of people will get in trouble, Mark, and you know me for years, but not because you know me from the streets. You know that you've heard of stuff that I do. People know when they're in trouble, they come to me. I believe that not only can I win, I should win. I don't need this job, Mark, because you know what I do for a living and how I do it.
No, I know exactly what you do, yeah.
The reason why but one
Should
minute,
I
want to answer. Right.
Yes.
So let me explain to you something, Mark. I am the most qualified candidate. I've dealt with many different agencies. I deal with drug addiction with special kids. I help them with programs. I take them into my house. The reason why, and yes, there should have been a debate a couple of days ago. Somehow your friend, and yes, I know he's your friend, Dov and Yoni, they backed out of debate, and I don't know why. Then there's another debate on Wednesday. There's going to be a town hall meeting. I'm hoping to go to it after the debate. And I don't know why I wasn't invited to the debate. But that debate is at New York 1 in their studio. And then at 7 o'clock at the Y, they're renting the place for the people to speak, 200 people to come. And I'm going to be there to answer questions and also to reciprocate on answers or questions that were given on TV by not Dove, well, I consider Yoni and Dove one, Dove and Kalman as to give them my answers. But on a
moderators, who are the moderators?
I think that, I don't know, some guy from New York one, a very famous moderator from the New York one. But on On the October 19th, there's going to be Joseph Kornbluth will be a moderator, if I'm correct. Jacob Kornbluth, Jacob, yeah, and another one. It's on the thing. And that October 29th, which is next Sunday.
Freelander?
Yes, Ezra Finlay. He's going to be one of the moderators.
Talking to him. What is he going to be asking you about?
I am sure.
The Jewish community, or
you know what? I'm one of the candidates. I don't want to cause trouble yet.
you win the city council race? How are you going to deal with the established organizations in the community? Do you have a good relationship with them, or?
Well, let me tell you one thing. Besides the 3 different schools that I've helped open up this year alone, besides the youth centers that I've worked in, besides the hundreds of families that I've helped and support this community, from helping their children in schools, from helping open their children's schools, from helping their homes and developers, I know the system. I'm going to go to the city council, but I know there's money there, and I know that we get assigned a certain money, and I'm going to try to work with my staff and the community leaders to use the money and make it work the right way. Besides that, I'm going to, of course, make friends with city council members. And of course, I know different agencies, and I know the system. I know the red tape. I know how to navigate the system. So I'm going to use the system itself to help my people. The other week, I had a client that called me up and needed a letter of no objection. You know what that is. Letter of no objection takes the place of a C of O. And it's much quicker and cheaper to get. So one of my clients, I've been working and fighting to get it for about 5 months. Calls up Dove's office, and Dove said, I'll help you with the commissioner. It ended up that they denied his letter of no objection. It was either Dove or whatever, one of their offices. And I screamed at my client, why'd you call them? We navigate the system. Don't go above me. Don't go to one of them who don't know how to use the system. That's my point. I know how to use the system. I know youth centers. I know drug rehabs. I know legal aid. I am going to.
That's the message I want to give to the viewers. I don't know if you're going to win. I don't know who's going to win. I'm friends with all 3 candidates, but I do want to attest on public, on the radio, that you're a person that has a serious nefesh like I've never seen in my life. And last night we had at the Bridge, a multicultural project. We had 250 singles, very religious, from single girls and boys got together without the help of any major organization.
Yeah, I was going to talk to you about. I was going to talk.
The programs that you have to keep pushing. We have to keep pushing that. We can't rely anymore on the existing PR organizations which do nothing to help our kids.
But I was gonna talk about.
People should know that Heshy Tishler is a person that cares about the community.
I love you, and I was.
Tishler, to me, to Mark Appel, is a tzaddik who spent his whole life, every minute of his day, helping out young people, helping out divorced people, helping out agunas, helping out people that need housing, people that are homeless, people that need food for Shabbos. And I just applaud you for that kind of work. And that work, the community has to know, instead of getting into the gutter and talking bullshit about each other and nonsense about each other, to start taking things in their own hands, not relying on major organizations which do nothing, do absolutely nothing, but just to get involved and help out people in the community that need help.
Mark, I love you, and I was going to talk about your bridge project. Let me tell you something, Mark. Before you get off, and I'm not going to embarrass you, you are a delicious man. I'm not going to say this. I know that people are going to make fun of me. I call you delicious. You are really sweet. You are a man has done.
I'm trying.
I know you for many years. I know the stuff. I can't embarrass you that you do that people don't even think of what you could do and what you do behind the scenes. You make me jealous that I can't compete with you of what the chesed and good kindness that you've done.
I was on WhatsApp group, with all the chevra, the good chevra, everybody's on that WhatsApp group. So I'm talking about this beautiful event last night. It was really a very frum event. They even had mechitzos here. They had shatchonim here. It was a very religious event. I noticed nobody was responding to the work I did. It was I didn't even do the work. It was a young man, Jonathan, that did this beautiful project of bringing young people together. 250 people were here at the bridge, and nobody was commenting. This community has to understand, instead of complaining and bitching, to take the matters into your hand. You see drugs in the community, call 911. You have problems with homeless, deal with it. Learn from Heshy Tishler that you got to move and you got to work out of the mainstream, out of the box, and just get it done.
Well, Mark, I love you. By the way, I tell everybody we should work within the box. Let's take the problems that we have now and solve what we got and go on our merry way. You are delicious, Mark. I love you. Thank you.
Wish you all the luck in the world.
Thank you, my brother. Good night. Good night. I'm going to have, you guys can call into the show 212-219-9695. My next guest is Naftali Moster. He runs the Yafet program. We're going to have a little chat with him on his ideas and what he has to think about, what he's going to tell us about his program. I'm going to ask him some questions. I don't always have to agree with Naftali, and he's going to tell us his ideas, because everybody in the community, especially Yoni, says, I'm going to protect you. He's trying to scare us. I'm tired of these scare tactics. Let me just explain to you something. I'm invited a gentleman to talk to him. Ask him what to do. Maybe you can change his ideas. Don't be like the Nazis and say to us, hey, I'm going to protect you, because I'm tired of being scared. I'm tired of being threatened. When I was a kid, I was chased by dogs. I was fought back. I'm tired of this. I don't need you to threaten my people in my community, tell them that they're going to come after me and shut down my schools. Let me tell you something. My children, and Naftali's listening to this before he starts talking to us, my children went to Torah Semis. My children went to Mir. My children went to Derech Torah. My nephews, I went to Ber Shmuel, Hassan Soifer, Hadar Torah Camp. Our children don't have metal protectors coming into the school. We don't have stabbings or shootings. Yes, we have a drug problem. We always did, even since I'm a kid. We do have some child molesting, and we're trying to work that out. And I've been part of a group that is not allowing children anymore to be alone with a rabbi teacher. It's going to be 2 rabbis or 1 teacher. The word is spreading, or two kids with 1 rabbi with 1 teacher. This is going to stop, and I am on top of it.
That last point you made is so important, Hesh. You have to emphasize that. Very, very good on your part. We have another guest here, and the thing what I want to say to everybody now, on YouTube, if you like to watch it that way, those folks, the millennials out there, not really into radio, maybe we can go to the YouTube. And where can we find the YouTube? Just enough Heshy YouTube. You can watch us do this wonderful thing. Why you want to watch people on the radio, I'll never know. But it can be
I'm
fun.
good looking.
It can
I'm
be
good
fun.
looking. Stop it.
Who do we have here sitting next to us?
We have a gentleman by the name of
Lean right in.
We have a gentleman by the name of Naftali Moster. He has a lot to say about schools. And Naftali, we're going to chat in and out. I happen to agree with the English education for our children, of course. But Naftali, before you start with your thing, our schools have the proper education. I know you want more English. I know you want to make our children go out. But as I was saying before, my children are college graduates. I took 80% of my son's class of Mir, and I talked them all into going to college. And they've graduated. They have jobs. And they're Torah-learned boys, and they've gone to Israel. I was a teacher in Satmar for English. I taught math and English. Okay, maybe a lot of my kids failed. But that's a joke. That's a joke. But I'm just saying to you is that we have good programs. I know you want them better. But we don't want to be forced down the programs. We don't want to be threatened in our community. Like Hiking went after you and said, oh, you're scaring us, I'll protect you. I don't need protection against you, Naftali. What I want you to do is come into our community. And if you're scared to come into our community, we have Facebook, we have WhatsApp, we have YouTube. But I know that if you come in and explain your issues, work with our community, tell us, listen, these are the things that I think that could be changed instead of forcing it down our throats, because we have good kids. Our kids are beautiful babies, really. Go ahead.
We don't have that much time, so I'm going to jump in.
Go ahead.
So the truth is, a lot of people don't know the history of Yafet, and I think that explains a lot. Let me know if I need to.
No, you're good. You're good. You're fine.
So a lot of people don't know this. In 2012, when we founded Yafet, the very first thing I did actually was I approached the administrator of the yeshiva I attended, Bells. I'm not going to say his name. He doesn't deserve, to be called that. But and I told him about my ideas, and he said to me, Tully, that was my nickname at home, and he knew it. He goes, Tully, give it up. You're wasting your time. I said, what do you mean by that? He says, well, I'm going to tell you a story. About 8 years ago, me and some friends, we got together and we decided we're going to put together a program for the kids that don't fit the mold. They're not going to grow up to become rabbis, right? So let's create a program for them. Instead of them landing in the streets, teens at risk, let's put together a program. We're going to give them a good Jewish education, but also good secular education, including some vocational training. And they had everything ready. They had a building, they had staffing ideas, they had a curriculum, and then the rabbis found out about it. And guess what happened? The project was killed. They said, no way, it's not happening. And that was his message to me, Naftali, give it up. That was the very first thing. Then we went to a rabbi in Brooklyn, And we told them again our grievances or ideas about fixing the education system. And he said, listen, you only have one choice. You have to go to the media. You have to go to you have to file a lawsuit. And we were like all taken aback. We're like, what? Coming from a rabbi?
But that's a problem because
Hold on. I'm not done with my.
But even if the rabbi told you that, you yourself, I also had an issue.
We're not done. We're not done. We did other things, and we continue to do things. In fact, the reason you invited me here is to talk in part because of the Hamodia article that referred to us as a rodef, which is a terrible term.
But I also want to know your mission. I want to know your mission statement. I want to know, forget about these other people that are knocking you and stuff. I want to know the goal of Yafet, and I don't want Yafet to take away from my Jewish education.
Right.
Jewish schools, we have a lot of morning studies and English studies. By the way, Bells, I know you're not Bells, but I like Bells. You know why? Because Bells was one of the first schools that put computers and started teaching their kids spreadsheets. And they wanted
Which kids are we talking about? You tell me boys and Bells learn spreadsheets?
Yeah, they had computers. I was there on 43rd Street. The guy brought in computers. 43rd and 16th Avenue. They were teaching the kids how to use
41st Street.
41st Street, and they were teaching the kids how to use. I used to go there all the time. My office was there. Right, it was between 41 and 42 years ago. And they were years ago. You're talking many years ago, and he was teaching them how to do spreadsheets and go on stuff on not internet, but other stuff. And I was so happy. I was impressed. Bells did impress me that they thought out of the box.
Well, I don't know about the program, and I'm surprised to hear it. No other Belzer guys have told me about that program.
Gail has computers in the girls' school on 19th
Girls'
Avenue.
school's a whole different ballgame.
Okay.
We both know it. In fact, so let's talk about the mission statement. So our mission is to improve the secular education at ultra-Orthodox and Hasidic yeshivas to a point where men or boys, when they become men, they can go out there and earn a decent living to support themselves and their families, right? Which right now is not the case. So that is really the overall mission. And of course, what we bring up a lot is the New York State laws. That is because that gives a good justification for pursuing it and to say, here's what the law is, and you need to strive.
Yeah, but the law you're talking about is the Blaine law, if I'm correct?
No.
It's separate.
No,
my problem is,
please, if you don't mind, let me finish because your viewers want to understand what's going on. New York State Education Law, Article 65, Section 3204 states very clearly that if a child attends a non-public schools, they need to be given an education that is substantially equivalent to public school. That's a quote, substantially equivalent. And then the law goes on to say that what does that education include? English, math, science, social studies.
And they get it. They get it.
They do not.
I was in the schools.
In most Hasidic boys' schools, they do not get it. I don't even know how you.
I promise you, I was a teacher. And I have friends who are teachers. Up till
so for 90 minutes. For 90 minutes and 4 days a week, somehow they squeeze in all these different subjects.
We started about 3:30. We ended at 6. It's about 2 hours, 2.5 hours.
Give 2.5 hours a second.
Krasner was a teacher in 8th grade. Satmar was a teacher, and that guy on 50th Street. I promise you, I was fourth grade. I promise you, I was a 4th grade teacher. I even taught a gold.
How long did you teach secular studies in Satmar?
2 years.
Each day.
2 years.
Each day. How many hours?
I started at 3:30. 3 o'clock. I got 3:30, and I ended at 6 o'clock.
Yeah, I don't think that's not what most Southmere graduates tell me, and I would be.
I don't know, but I'm an actual witness of this.
That being said, let's assume that's the case. The law requires you to teach English, math, science, history, geography, music, art, physical education, health education, and other subjects.
No. It teaches you to use those subjects, but it requires, right? It doesn't make you do all the subjects.
I'm telling you what the law is. You can argue with the law. You can say that you don't want the law to be that way. But I'm telling you what the law is.
But the law also should be paying for our schools. Public schools get free education.
Actually.
Why aren't we getting our voucher program? Why aren't you on top of the vouchers?
Do you know how much? By the way, there's a voucher program. You may not be aware of it.
I heard about it, but it's not working.
What are you talking about?
How come I don't have it? I need a voucher program, but I'm paying a fortune for my kids' tuition.
The same Hamodia newspaper that actually criticizes us.
Yeah.
It's very funny. A few weeks ago, we released a report about the state of secular education at Hasidic yeshivas. One of the things we pointed out was the astronomical amount of government funds they get. And guess who attacked us? Hamodia. The only problem is they didn't realize that we actually cited Hamodia in that, because a few months before they released an article in which they said that yeshivas get 120 million for one program alone. It's a type of a voucher program for one program alone. You see, Heshy, you don't realize how much money the government gives to non-public schools, and I'm happy to inform you and your listeners, because that's the thing. They don't know how much money the government gives them.
How do I get into it? How do I get my children? Because I'm costing me. I got a grant, and a discount fighting with my yeshiva. I'm still paying $18,000, and I'm one of the poorer guys.
Well, it
No, that
sounds like
people
you're
pay much
sending.
more.
It sounds like you're sending your kids to more modern schools.
No.
Which
I'm
costs a
sending
lot
them to
more.
it costs a lot more because I did want to send them to the Torah, and you're right. I have a different view on how to raise my children. But yeah, I sent my boys to Torah Semis and Torah Tamima. They cost a lot of money, and they're the same kind of bells. They cost $12.
They are not the
$15.
same like
Sure
bells.
they do.
Heshy,
And
you
they
really
have
need
the
to be a
same
little more
idea.
educated about what's going on in the Hasidic yeshivas. And I know you're telling me that you taught there. It's very surprising to me because I deal with dozens of yeshiva graduates who tell me different scenarios than what you're describing. But anyway, there's a lot that we want to discuss. First, the Hamadiyah threat, or I wouldn't call it a threat. It wasn't a threat, but they used language that could be seen as incitement. And I think that's the distinction. And it's very important to point out and to call them out. And anyone else who thinks that they're going to use these terms that could lead others, even people who are just fanatics, to do something crazy. And I think they really need to be called out on that. Then you mentioned the Yoni Heikind attack on me personally.
Yeah.
You literally called me out by name. So here's what happened. A few weeks ago, Kalman Yeager apparently realized that education is an important issue for the community, and he figured he's going to make that his sort of like platform. And it got him a lot of votes, I'm assuming. It's sort of like serving red meat to Bar Park, right? And so then, and they also called out Yoni for not being tough enough, for not coming out strong enough about the education. So Yoni comes out and says, honestly, I think Yoni is on our side. I think Yoni believes that education needs to be improved. So he tried to figure out a way, how can he say that he agrees with the education being improved, but also agrees with the people who criticize Naftali Moster or Yafet. So he found a way, and he said, I criticize him because he's not respectful of the community. And that kind of implies that I agree with his mission, but he is no one to talk because he doesn't respect the community. That is what I'm trying to say.
By the way, when I
I'm
become councilman, I want to sit down with you, and I want you to work within my community. I don't want you to be
guess what?
scared.
I tried meeting with David.
Scared.
You know how many times I tried meeting with David Greenfield while he was council member? You know how many times I tried meeting with Dove?
Let's grab a call. Let's grab a call in between. You're on the air. What's happening? What's your question? Caller, you're on the air. What's your question? Yeah, what's your question?
I just want to know, do you have any advice for running a plantation?
I have no
We
idea.
have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay, I guess it was a joke.
Thanks for being a jackass. Go ahead.
Okay, go ahead. Continue.
So a lot of people don't realize.
But you spoke to Dove and David, and they wouldn't return your calls. Okay,
No,
yeah,
David had me meet with his chief of staff. In the beginning, that was a Hasidic guy who ended up becoming like the head of some local board, Barry Spitzer. He was basically laughing to my face. And then later on, he had a new chief of staff, a more secular guy, and I met with him. They never followed up. I tried following up with them. I spoke to Dov Heiken several times. I wanted to meet, but instead we had several phone calls. He said he's going to look into it. He said he wanted parents to call him to complain about it. So I encouraged some parents to call him, and I know they did. And guess what? He did nothing about it. So no one can complain that I didn't try to do things from within. But furthermore, I want to say to this day, we're still working from within. But our strategy now is two-pronged: applying pressure from within, empowering and encouraging parents to speak up, as well as applying pressure from above, from the government.
Well, what I want to do is I want to keep the government out of our freedom. Right now, that I believe I should create a community, civil, independent group to work with you, to sit with you and say, listen, let's come up with ideas and then spread it within the community. To go outside to the papers and the government to force us, we're not going to allow it anyways. We're not going to give in. We've built a community where there's a yeshiva and a school on every block. We've built a community that I'm so proud of, that I saw 40 years ago come back and fight. My father was in the fires of the Holocaust, where they threatened him. They tried in Russia and Hungary and Europe to force their education. I am, because I am a child from the Holocaust, and we don't want to be threatened. I'm tired of being threatened, and I'm tired of you threatening and telling my community to be scared of you. We're not scared of you. We want to work with you. We want to hear your platforms. We want you to give us ideas. Not all of them will be great.
Let me ask you something. Yeah. With regards to car seats is a very similar example. It's a nuisance for parents who have to carry around car seats for them everywhere they go, put their kids in, strap them in every single time they go into the car. It's very frustrating. And I bet you many years ago, parents didn't want to do it. They fought against it. And then guess what? The government enforced the law, and now who's still arguing over car seats? Nobody, right? Everyone knows it's a safety mechanism, and they do it. The same is true with education. I'm not saying that the government should be here and come into yeshivas and lock them down and stuff, but they have to enforce the law. You could say that as a community we come together, and I've invited community leaders to meet with me. I've met with David Zwiebel from Agudath Israel. I've reached out to him, follow up. I've reached out to David Niederman on several occasions. I have all these things to prove, by the way. I have emails to prove it. So I've tried. I'm not, and I still continue to be open to these kinds of things. But at the same time, you do need this to be guided by the law, because otherwise there's no teeth.
Right, and we're gonna change these laws. We're gonna work together. But I'm not gonna let you. It's not easy enough. But I don't want my community.
But I just told you. Do you want car seats?
It's not the same thing.
Why not?
Okay, I'll tell you a very simple reason why. Okay, the car seat is a safety issue. Over here, we have so many different programs that we, the public, our own community enforces from special education. We have a yichud program that takes special kids. We have a program that has kids that can't really do high school the way you want it. So we find a way to give them after in high school, not only to give them some secular studies and Jewish studies, but teach them how to become electricians and so on. There are beautiful schools like that. There's one in Florida that's like out of this world.
Why are they not in borough park?
Right, and that's what we should talk about. Those are the schools we have
I'm
to
happy
create.
to talk about that, but that's only going to solve the problem for a dozen Bacharim, maybe 100. What about the thousands that are going to Bells, to Satmar, to Baba, to Spare?
And you know what? There is GED programs. And 1 minute. And I want you to know something. We have to talk to these kids, but the law says up till, if I'm correct, a certain age, that's all they have to go, 16 years old, and then afterwards we can't force them down there throughout the school. A lot of the kids, and I'm not saying everybody wants to be a rabbi, but if you know, most of my children in my community are pretty successful. They're not drug dealers. They're not criminals on the street.
It's a different ballgame.
They're trying to
they got
themselves.
a regular elementary and high school education.
Right.
The ones you're talking about. I'm talking about Hasidic yeshivas, the real Hamish Hasidic yeshivas, the ones that teach maybe 90 minutes of secular studies to elementary school boys and nothing to high school.
It's more than 90 minutes, but okay, go ahead.
Okay, anyway, so that's where I'm targeting. You argue that it's not the same as car seats. Obviously, it's not a safety thing, but it also has to do with the fact that they grow up and they're not able to support themselves and their large families.
Okay.
And
remember, there's money needed. You're saying there's $120 million, which I think is much more that's needed. We need after-school programs.
No, that's just one program. They get millions and millions of dollars. What are you talking about? Well, in our report, we actually.
But how does a regular person go in and join it? You're telling me the schools get it. Why aren't regular families able to sign up?
You bring up an amazing thing now.
Yeah.
Actually, the law is that the funds, they don't officially go to the school. Funds follow the kid, which means that every kid that goes to a Hasidic yeshiva is technically entitled to all this money, and they're being robbed of it. So the parents, instead of being upset at Yafa, they should actually join us. In fact, we are eventually going to probably have to file a lawsuit against the city and the state, and I encourage parents to come forward because
then we're going to lose. Then when you file this lawsuit, we're going to lose the money. Then
you might have to. Some yeshivas might lose the money, but not the kids. The kids will continue getting the money.
You have too much noise.
Depending on which yeshiva they go to. You see, that's what I'm saying. The money continues to follow the boys.
But I have a question for you. I believe over the next 2 to 3 years, if you sit down with us and work out a plan, saying, listen, yeshivas, let's go yeshiva, get somebody prominent. Okay, Dov doesn't want to cooperate with you. I know that because he only wants to be in the newspapers. I got that. We can find a new councilman like me. We can find community leaders like, well, for sure not Liam Goldenberg, but a guy like Mark Appel, Rebbes like the Bubba, but they have some real good guys like Ben Barber. We have guys like, we have really good community leaders that can really put together a group, and work together. We have Scheinbaum who love to help people. And I'm sure they love education. They love kids. They love bicycles. I'm sure they'd get involved.
Heshy, let's grab a call. Time is running short. Mr. Friedman, go ahead. Mr. Friedman, go ahead.
Mr. Friedman, hello, you're on the air.
Yeah, I have a question.
Naftali Master.
Go ahead.
Hi, I have a question for you, Naftali. Moshe Friedman.
Hey, hello, Moshe Friedman.
Yes, ask your question, please.
I do not believe that you have for 1 second in mind our community. I remember a year ago when you asked me to post some stuff of your things on my website. I went and I promoted you, thinking that you really care about the community. But watching you the last year,
watching your Twitter and your Facebook feed, how you criticize our community on things that have nothing to do with education, how you never stick up for money that the yeshivas should be getting on different ways and only criticizing supposedly on the education. How could you prove for anybody that you care about our community?
Thank you. I just actually addressed that, and I explained that I do fight for the funding, but I fight for the funding to be with the parents where it actually belongs. Right now, it's the yeshivas that rob it from your kids. They get the money and they misuse it. They use it on other programs possibly, or they just line their pockets with it.
One of the programs.
Who knows? Who knows? Maybe they use it for the Jewish studies that it's not meant for. But what I'm saying is,
Jewish studies are very important.
Oh no, but I'm saying that the specific funding that is meant for specific secular studies programs, they end up using it for other things, or like I said, possibly to line their pockets. We don't know. But the problem is there's so little accountability, so little transparency. What I'm saying is I want the yeshivas to get as much money as they can. Seriously, I mean it. Why not? Let them get as much money as they can. But I'm saying the money should be used correctly, and every yeshiva has to be able to prepare their kids so that when they come out of the yeshiva, they're able to support themselves and their kids and to contribute to society. I think there's nothing wrong with that. And by the way, I didn't realize who this Moshe Friedman is, but now I do from their website. First of all, I didn't ask him to promote my thing. I posted an op-ed and I gave it to him to share. But keep in mind, Moshe Friedman, he was telling me, we met, and he was telling me everyone is supportive of Yafed. You know, let's do this, let's do that. Oh, of course. No, I'm serious. Moshe Friedman.
No, he's not too happy with Yafed.
Yeah, trust me, behind the scenes, it's not just him. It's a lot of Hasidic parents. Where do you think I get all this stuff to post on Facebook? He mentions it. The stuff I post on Facebook, on Twitter.
There's always somebody.
No,
you know, like I
I
watched today an OTD video of a guy never had a bad story. Yes, you have a couple of people that go off the path, and there's a few Hasidic here, a few sitting there.
Where does that come in? We're talking about actual Hasidim.
An actual Hasidim. I'm telling you, on the most I know, but
I
I am on the streets. I've gone to these yeshivas.
Right, we're down to 30 seconds, so let's wrap it up.
So I'm gonna wrap up this show. I'm gonna say thank you, Naftali Moster. You are a very, very cool guy. I like you. I want to sit with you. I want to talk to you when I become councilman. I want you to come into my community. It's not if I'm going to meet. I want to have a town hall meeting. I want you to come and speak. On November 7th, everybody. Heshy Tishla, you flip that switch. You know I'm the man of the streets. I will tuck in my shirt and wear a tie for that debate, really. I don't know if I want to, but I guess I have to. My son threatened me. Have a great week, and if you see me, come over to me.
Stay tuned. I'll be right back with you about 8:02. Don't go anywhere. Romeo Radio. My good friend Heshy. I appreciate it, buddy. Thank you.